So, hey, hi. Before I start, I would love to know what the familiarity of and the expertise of the people in the room are. So, if I could see hands of who's a developer here, that'd be really helpful. Awesome. And are you developers building on Filecoin actively? Okay, cool. So I'm not going to talk too much about that kind of a thing, and more, yeah. So just introduce us. I don't really, I think, have to based on who's in the room right now, but really our goal is building a future where we're building open source, democratic, and secure technology that, unlike in the previous, I'd say, decade of Web3, we're also trying to make this accessible to beginners, people who we don't expect to have to drink the Kool-Aid and really be complete Web3 natives to be able to leverage this incredible technology stack. And so who are we? We're people that love open source and community-oriented projects that are stewarded by the people, by the developers, by the community, by the users who make up that community. And really, the most important thing is that, to realize this Web3 vision, we have to ensure that we maintain a persistence to the true ethos that makes Web3 what it is, and that we cannot simplify the message and the intention of why this technology exists in the first place. Juan, a couple days ago, during a talk, said something incredible, which I have to repeat, which is this technology was made to be built with rights embedded in it. And that's something we can't forget, right? So if you don't think about those things, well, you're enabling for anyone to do things outside of that real intention. So yeah, we're a team. We live in places and we like each other. But what's the point of what we do? And at the end of the day, it's really all about true community ownership. And I'll talk about that a little bit today. And last minute, the presentation changed a lot, to be honest, based on things I really want to say, based on the experience I've had here in Singapore. And so how do we get kind of to this place where, we are really able to truly achieve those goals? And so taking a large step back and just thinking about what we do as just another kind of common good, right? And we can go into, are these common goods, public goods, and have a semantic argument about that. I would love to, so if you want to find me afterwards. But for now, let's focus on what is necessary to take a step away from the traditional structures that have enabled us to create these public common goods, some of them public and common goods, and then how do we get to kind of this place where we, the people, are able to create these common goods together through true organized structure that then kind of embodies everything we do. And open source really lends itself to this because, within that world, you really have to find these non-zero-sum ways of enabling lots of different actors, lots of different participants to have their voices heard, and then for the code to reflect those things. And that's something that's quite unique, right? One of the only fields that I can think of that has any notion of public kind of complete public information is in law, right? Where you have a lawyer shows up to court and then everything that they had as kind of proprietary IP gets released to the public. And then we all get to use that, what was proprietary IP, to build our own narratives on top of that. Outside of that, it's a really uncommon thing for someone to go out there and say, here, have it for free. And so Elinor Ostrom, if y'all aren't familiar, is one of the leading experts on, has written an incredible series of books, but Governing the Commons, which is a must-read for anyone building within the common goods kind of world. So, what is the power of this technology? Is it the technical abilities of it? Because if so, we would probably just be building cool databases, right? It's the fact that it is owned by us, the people, and reflects what we want to see in the technology. Now, the issue becomes when certain actors get more voice through weight that they've maybe acquired through means that we wouldn't have necessarily wanted when we originally envisioned these systems. And so it's truly important to understand that it really is our ability to harness collective energy in a way that no traditional org or open source solution can, right? As we move towards a zero-sum economy, as we move towards a post-scarce economy, it's been a long day, first meeting at 6:30 in the morning. As we're moving towards this post-scarce economy, it's important to appreciate that it is innovation and it is pushing what is currently available today that will keep you alive, right? No longer can we extract value based on things that we hold behind closed doors. It's just not going to work because the cost of creating these things is nothing once we've created it once. And really, the power of the open source tech is that you're constantly forced to innovate based on creating these non-zero sum opportunities for people to collaborate, right? To get Qualcomm and Intel to both work together towards funding something. It sounds absurd, but it happens all over the world. Yet in blockchains, we haven't really gotten to that point. We're still competing in this pretend red market where in reality it's a blue market, and we have no idea what the true impact of all of this will be. And so it's really important to remember that we do have much more in common than we have separate, and that it's our jobs to make sure that we're aligning as much as possible every step of the way. And obviously Protocol Labs and the general Filecoin stack is an embodiment of that. Everything from libp2p and beyond really is that, beyond anything that I see really in our space. And it's something we're incredibly proud to be contributing to because of that vision for true open source and true community-driven development. So yeah, we build blockchains. We love it. We're really proud within the Filecoin community to be working on Forest, which is a Rust implementation of Filecoin. And so as we kind of got into the space and we were building these low-level blockchains and really imagined, the second we build these things, the technology would be capable of doing all the things we dreamed of, and then everyone would just start building, right? Decentralized Ubers here, decentralized Airbnbs there. But then we kind of had a reality check, probably like 5 years ago, all of us in the community, and realized, oh my God, how are we ever going to get to a place where people are actually able to use this technology? And so these are kind of some of the quotes, if you can read them, that through our kind of product user interviews we would get. And really that made us have to take a real hard look at the things that we're building and to kind of be honest that if we are going to make that impact, we can't just be building at the lowest level, but we actually have to be building middleware and beyond. And so we're really proud to have contributed to Phil Snap that was just released through the new MetaMask Snap directory that you can go check out and do some really incredible things. And we're incredibly proud to also have storage. So ChainSafe storage, storage.chainsafe.io is a place where you can go and have an S3 compatible API or standard IPFS. And so we're very much focused at providing this utility through our Web3.Unity SDK. So very much focused on enabling developers through the gaming world to leverage a notion of pinning in a way that otherwise was incredibly complex for them. And since then, we've done about 5 terabytes worth of data stored and about approximately 1.1 million individual pinned items. And so it's not a lot of data necessarily, but in terms of items pinned, we're really proud to be making it easier for people to bring this incredible world into their games. And so how are, I was expecting a little bit more beginners as well here. And so maybe you all know this already, but just to reiterate, the best way to contribute to a community is to really just show up and to be a participant. Because at the end of the day, these are open source communities and you don't need to ask for permission. You know, it's your duty and responsibility to make your voice heard if you want to be a part of that change. And there's really nothing anyone can do to stop you. I mean, you can check out Twitter if you don't believe me. There's plenty of people making their voices heard that we would love to not hear. But they're there, right? And they are as much of a part of this community as all of us in this room are, whether we like it or not. And so we have to start to appreciate that it is, again, that power, that collectivist energy that makes this the most incredible technology stack that has ever existed. Thank you so much.